My name's Rocky Taylor with Mountain Aggregates, and I'm here going to talk to you a little bit on file protection. In 2019, a 46-year-old contractor with 3 years' experience was fatally injured when he lost his balance and fell back through a narrow gap between two log washers, landing on a cable tray approximately 12 feet below. This is a picture of the where he fell through. He fell through the narrow gap in the middle. He was tightening the belts up on the motor. Best practice, always use file protection equipment, safety belts and lines when working at heights, near openings, in danger of falling. Always be aware of your surroundings and any hazards that may be presented or may be present. Have properly designed handrails, guards, and covers securely in place around the openings where persons may fall. Train personnel in safe work procedures regarding the use of handrails, file protection equipment during maintenance and construction activities, and ensure the use. Conduct workplace exams in order to identify and correct the hazards prior to performing the work. When should you wear a safety harness? Safety harness and lines should be worn when a person is working where there is the danger of falling. A second person shall attend a lifeline when entering bins, tanks, or any other dangerous areas. When do you inspect your harness? You inspect the harness each time before, every day before you put it on and use it. What to look for while inspecting the harness. You want to look at the all the buckles and make sure there's no cracks or nothing in any of the buckles, and check the D-ring on the back, and then check all the webbing. On this particular one, you'd have to take it down on the inside and go through the webbing and check it's got buckles inside too. But be sure to inspect and check all the webbing and buckles. Make sure nothing's cracked or broke or frayed edges. This is some examples of stuff to look for. Any of the plastic pieces that keeps the webbing straight, make sure that none of it's broken or stretched. This is an example of some of the stitching. If any of the stitching's messed up, make sure that you disregard throw the safety harness away, take it out of service. This is typical when you've got a welder that wears a safety harness all the time. They need to really be aware of this and make sure if it gets anywhere close to this to throw it away. Inspecting the lanyards. Do the lanyards, start at one end, rotating the lanyard, checking the same things, checking the stitching on the webbing, making sure there's no cuts or frays in it, checking the hooks on the ends for any distortions or cracks, anything that may be wrong on the hook ends of it. On a retractable lanyard, you want to pull the lanyard out and check it and make sure that none of it's cut or frayed apart. Check the clips and D-rings on them also. This is an example of one that needs to be thrown away. It's frayed all to pieces. What is the life of a harness? Life of the harness is 5 years from the date put into service, as long as you can prove what day you put it into service. You need to keep a record of each safety harness, identify it like we do at Elkhorn with a number, and keep it all filed in a book somewhere where it's ready available. 100% tie off. That's why you see 2 lanyards on the back of this one, and then this lanyard has got the 2 ends. This clips in the safety belt. These ends is actually what you hook up with to tie off. That way you can always got one hooked up, no matter what. Have and know a rescue plan in case you or a file worker or co-worker files. Man lift is if one's available and can be done so safely. Call 911. Use the fire department for rescue. Something else we've added into this is having a self-rescue descent system in use, which is what this pack is. And as we go on in this, we will go outside and do a little demonstration on the tripod and actually show you how that you can assist someone who's fallen and maybe they're unconscious or whatever. There's a rescue pole. You can use that to help one of your fellow co-workers to the ground. This is what I just showed you. This is the self-rescuing device. You can actually pull the red handle that's on the safety belt if you're conscious and awake, and let yourself to the ground. This is the tag on the inside of it. It gives you all the information about the length of the rope and how to use it, step by step on the bottom. Clear sight to the ground. Make sure no obstacles, nothing you get hung or fall into as you're going to the ground. Pull the cord and it'll lower you to the ground. It lowers you at a rate of, I think it's like 3 feet per minute or something, or per second. This is the inspection log on the back of it. We use ours, we put it on a piece of paper in the book. That way there's more room for each day, each inspection. Mounting this harness to, or this rescue system to the harness is very simple. It's got a pin here on the back of it. You just pull it out, take it underneath the webbing on the D-ring on the back of the harness, clip it in. This flap sits over top of the D-ring that's on the harness so that you don't accidentally hook up to the D-ring that's on the harness. You want to hook to this D-ring. That's the picture of the pin I was talking about on the back. It'll lock in place. It's got a red line around it like a gun safety. If you can see the red line, it's not locked. Like I said before descending with the self-rescuer system, I always check the descent path and the landing zone below for sharp edges that can cut the lifeline and other potential hazards that may injure you or whoever you're lowering to the ground if you're assisting someone. To activate the self-rescuer, pull the red tab to release the cord on the shoulder strap. That's this. It'll be mounted to your shoulder. You pull this red tab. Inside of here is a cord that you would pull to let yourself to the ground. Bend your knees and brace for landing. The descent rate is about 3 to 5 feet per second. This is a little picture showing how to properly pull the cord and where it's located. See how he's got his legs bent up just a little bit, bracing for the landing. The rescue post system that I mentioned a little while ago assists rescue in the event that the wire of the descent device is incapacitated. The red assist rescue ring can be used with a rescue access pole. This is a picture of it, and we'll see it a little more outside when we go out to actually drop the mannequin with the self-rescuer. It's real simple to use. Inside of the packaging that it comes with, it's got a little bag it's all stored in. This is the direction. Everybody needs to make themselves familiar with how to properly hook the D-ring into the end of it and what to actually hook to on the harness. And when you hook to this thing, you need to make sure, if you're below the person, you need to make sure to watch your head, because when you pull that whole thing comes out and it's got some weight to it, and then you're pulling it back to you, you want to make sure you don't let it hit you. Things to be cautious of when using it: before descending with the self-rescuer, I always check the path to the landing zone for sharp edges and things that cut the lifeline and injure you or the worker. The red assist ring is designed to detach from the self-rescuer system when pulled. If the tagline is pulled from below, the rescue ring and the attached tagline may fall to the surface below. Make sure the rescuer is not standing where he or she might be hit with the fallen tagline and the carabiner. The internal components of the self-rescuer system will be hot once the descent is made, so make sure you're not trying to take that off of somebody that you lower down real fast, because everything in here is going to get hot from the friction from the rope. This is another type of self-rescuing harness. This is actually one that's all built together. It's not an add-on to an existing harness. We'll talk a little bit about suspension trauma now. The suspension trauma straps, this kind is located on the thigh of the harness where it comes around your legs. Suspension trauma is an effect which occurs when the human body is held upright without any movement for a period of time. Prolonged effects of suspension trauma starts out with leg circulation. The straps impede the blood from returning. The muscles start to cramp, and the heart begins to not pump the blood as well after you hang there for a certain period of time. You start having anxiety and onset of shock, heart rate increases, cardiac irritability, brain getting blood back to the brain, it diminishes the blood flow, can block your airway, and ultimately it can cause death with prolonged suspension trauma. That's why it's important to have a rescue plan in place and using the self-rescuers with the rescue pole. Even if that person's knocked out, we can get them to the ground safely. So different types of suspension trauma straps. The one on the left is really nice. The one on the right is the type that I have on this safety harness, and they're a one-time use suspension trauma strap. This other one, you can deploy it and it rolls back up, so you can actually use it and transfer it back between safety harnesses. Cleaning and storage of a safety harness. Basic care for the safety equipment will prolong and the durability and the life of the safety harness. Just clean with mild soap and water. Let dry in a building somewhere. Don't put them out in direct sunlight. Keep them inside of a building and just let them air dry. What do you do with a harness after a fall occurs? After a fall occurs, all components of the fall arrest system should be removed from service. The self-rescuer system, the 50-foot and the 100-foot are a single descent device, but they can be sent back to the manufacturer for repair and recertification. You do not have to throw the self-rescuers away. You can send them back and have them recertified and put them back in the service once they come back. The rest of the harness and stuff needs to be thrown away. Always wear fall protection anytime there's a danger of falling. Now we're going to go outside and do a little demonstration with the tripod and the mannequin. All right, we're out here. We're going to do this little demonstration here with the tripod. We've got the mannequin hooked up and got about 80 pounds hanging off the bottom of him. That way that the scent device will work a little better. On this self-rescuer, it may be hard to see, but there's a red ring at the top of this, and what you do is you get this out of the package and you clip everything in, and the D-ring is open. The D-ring carabiner is open, and this little clip holds it open. That way you've got the ability to reach, and this pole extends a lot further than what I've got it, but for demonstration purposes, about as far as it needs to go. But you will reach up or down, hook that into the ring, pull the pole away, lay it to the side, and then you watch and make sure that don't come back flying and hit you in the head or anything of that nature. Then you pull it, and it lowers it to the ground safely. Like I said before, I always check the path, the scent path, make sure there's nothing there that can hurt the person. And it works really good. I like it. I wouldn't even want to attempt a height situation with that one. Guys, I appreciate you for watching and paying attention, and that's all I've got on the fall protection. If anybody's got any questions, they can reach out to me. My number's available. So